and welcome to the Album Man. And today we're going to be doing weekly rock news for the week of the 24th of February 2013, I think. And the order of proceedings today, we're going to firstly go over the news, as that is the title of this. Then I'm going to talk about I recently had a vote on what discography I should review next, so I'll be going over the results to that as I have them in. And then thirdly, I'll be talking about what CDs or vinyls I've been listening to recently. And Burned by Deep Purple is seriously starting to piss me off because it falls down nearly every day. I'm going to have to put a different thing now. As much as I love the album and the cover, it just won't bloody stay up. Anyway, okay. Let's get into this. So, as usual, this is going to go from what I judge to be sort of the least important to most important, and it's news that I'm interested in, bands I'm interested in. So, no, you're not going to hear me talking about, I think there's been some Slayer news and things like that. No. So, basically, David Bowie might tour. This is the news, apparently. This week's been a bit slow, but the guitarist has said that it's 50-50. I don't think he's going to. I think at the maximum he'll play 1 gig in New York, 1 gig in London, call it quits. I don't think he's going to tour. No. I mean, he surprised us before. I didn't think he was going to come back. But, yeah. And his new single, The Stars, out tonight. I'll have a track review out, but just after this video. So do watch that. But yeah, I can't say I think it's going to happen. Now, this is following up from last week's news that I talked about, where I said about the Metallica songs had been used to soften up people for torture. And the shooter, well, look, one of the people who was sort of involved in this was said that Metallica told them to not use their music because they didn't want to promote violence. But Metallica have now issued a statement saying there has been a lot of talk recently about us asking the military not to use our music to soften people up before interrogation. We never, capital letters, commented to the military either way on this matter. Any statements have been made otherwise are not correct. They want to be apolitical. They think for them politics and music don't mix. So apparently that was a load of crap, but I don't know. I think they're just trying to cover it up, to be honest, but oh well. Okay. The Anthrax drummer Charlie Benante, I think that's how you say it, has been forced to sit out on the upcoming tour of Australia for personal issues. He's being replaced by John Dett, who has played in Testament and Slayer, and is currently with Annie Metal USA, I've never bloody heard of. And, this is quite interesting, I didn't know this. I have seen Anthrax live, and it was supporting Motorhead on the European tour last year, and God, I need to do a concert review of that. I don't know what happened. Will be probably this week. And anyway, I didn't know Benante wasn't on drums then. I've literally just found out now. Apparently it was John Dett on drums. Well, he seemed bloody good on drums, is all I'll say to any Australians, because it's the Australian leg of the tour. Yeah, he's a bloody good drummer, and I, honest to God, didn't notice. Yeah, I'm not a major Anthrax fan, but, I do enjoy them and didn't notice whatsoever. Well, yeah, he's missing more stuff because of personal issues, so, oh well. So the saddest news this week, probably, Kevin Ayers has died at the age of 68, the co-founder of Soft Machine, and a big association with the Canterbury scene, where people like Brian Eno, even though I wouldn't really count as part of the Canterbury scene, Sid Barrett, another person I wouldn't, and Mike Oldfield, another person I wouldn't. But he was in the massively influential group The Wild Flowers, which was full of, his school friends and stuff, and it split effectively into Soft Machine in '66, and also into Caravan as well, as it had Pi Hastings and David Sinclair in Wildflowers as well. And, Kevin Ayers was on Soft Machine's first album, I think that was the only one, then had quite a long solo career, and I can't say I like Soft Machine. I don't like the first album. I really find it really dull, bit too jazzy for my liking. Not a big Robert Wyatt fan. Quite like him in Matching Mole, but not a big fan. not a big fan of Kevin Ayers, but I'm still, you know, part of the Canterbury scene. You know, he'll be missed even if I don't particularly like his music. And the biggest news of this week, in my opinion, is the Scorpions have finally said why the hell they haven't been playing the UK. So for all you Americans who don't know, they have not been they've been doing their final world tour, which isn't going to be that final because they're not retiring, and they didn't include a single, not even a single show in the bloody UK. Okay, the UK likes their Scorpions. There are a lot of Scorpions fans in this country. Scorpions albums have sold pretty well. The last one, Sting in the Tail, that sold pretty well. The classic ones like Blackout and Animal Magnetism have sold pretty well. I didn't see why they wouldn't play England. Even if they just played a gig in London, I probably would have gone down to see them. I'd love to see the Scorpions. It's been annoying, but they finally said that. Firstly, just one thing before we get straight into that, is that they were asked to play Download 2013 on the first day when Slipknot are headlining, but they were asked to play on the second stage, not the main one, which of course meant they couldn't bring their full kit and they didn't want to do that. But that's a bit weird why they'd only offer second stage. The Scorpions are sure big enough to play on the main stage, but whatever. And yeah, so this is what they said about why they won't play Britain. We desperately wanted to come over. We love playing in Britain, but again, it was a money consideration. Everywhere we go, our fee is really excellent, and that allows us to give a full value show. But in the UK, we get very low offers, the sort we can't really accept. That's why we've not played there, even though we're multi-millionaires and don't really need the money. Why don't they just play the UK? Seriously, I mean, they were genuinely going to retire without playing it on their final tour. Bloody douches. Michael Schenker's been playing the UK. He's playing some festival in Wales, and his Temple of Rock is touring. If he finds a fee good enough, I got the bloody Scorpions. It's been pissing me off. I don't see it. I don't believe. I find it hard to believe they get such low offers. I mean, they're the Scorpions. Surely they could, at the minimum, play sort of Apollo levels. They're not, maybe not quite up to quite arenas like the MEN or, you know, something like that. But yeah, surely they could play Apollo type things. Stupid. Okay, let's move on to the discography vote. And so there were 7 bands, and those bands were David Bowie, The Beatles, Marillion, Dream Theater, Magnum, Rainbow, and Whitesnake. And it was very, very close, this vote. I found it very interesting. So, at number 7, we have Whitesnake. This surprised me a bit. I didn't think they'd be quite that low. Seems no one really wants a Whitesnake discography. Bit of a shame, but oh well. Number 6, Bowie. This really surprised me. I thought he was going to be number 3, to be honest. Definitely, but no, number 6. It's quite interesting, though. He's definitely the most polarised. The people who want him, like, really want him, sort of put him in, like, the first 3 positions. But the people who didn't want him bloody hated him and put him, like, last or in the last 3. He never ended up in the middle, pretty much. Because there was no one who was like, you know, I don't really mind, but it's like, I hate the guy or I love him. So, I found that quite interesting. At number 5, Marillion, expecting to be about around there. That would have been a long discography, but I will probably end up doing the Fish album, certainly. So, Script for a Jester's Tear, Fugazi, Misplaced Childhood, and Clutch at Straws. Probably will end up reviewing those at some point. That's short. The entire Marillion discography, it would have been a big undertaking. Magnum at number 4, really pleased they were so high. I was not expecting to be that high, but that's really good that there's some good old Magnum fans out there who want to see me review Magnum, and I need to review a bit more Magnum. Even though I won't be doing a full discography, I definitely should cover a couple more of their classic albums at least. Then at number 3, which did surprise me, Rainbow. I didn't know that they'd be so high, to be honest. I mean, seriously. They were quite a bit ahead of Magnum as well. Massively behind second, first, but still, Rainbow at number 3, really? That's pretty good. I would, you know, definitely will. I'll be reviewing Richard Blackmore's Rainbow, the first Rainbow album, when I do my Dear Week for this year. In May, I like to do a Dear Week to commemorate him on the week that he sadly died. Okay, number 2. Now, obviously, it was going to be obvious all along. Number 1 and 2 were going to be Dream Theater and the Beatles, but the question was what order, and it was bloody close. There was 2 points separating these bands. And at second place we have Dream Theater, which did surprise me a bit. I thought maybe they might edge the Beatles, but no, the Beatles and the discography I'm going to be covering. So I'll be reviewing from the first album, Please Please Me, if I remember, to Let It Be was their last one. But I think I might also touch on the Yellow Submarine soundtrack, as I do consider that a canon Beatles album. And I may, it depends if I get a bit worn out of the Beatles by then, but I may cover the Past Masters Volume 1 and 2s. I'm really not sure about that though. Definitely the canon albums and Yellow Submarine. That was one of my first albums ever, so I'd definitely like to review that, if not just for the nostalgia really. Okay, and lastly, if you're still watching by this point, which I doubt many people are, then I'm going to talk about what CDs and vinyls I've been listening to this week. So firstly, we have Whitesnake's Live in the Heart of the City. Now, I did not listen to this on this CD, it's just that the cover is over there, and I didn't want to get it off the wall, and I didn't want to show just a vinyl, so I thought I'd show this. I actually did do a comparison between my double vinyl version, which was one of the earlier pressings of it, and this. This is a crap remaster, let me tell you. I don't even know if it's a remaster. Firstly, it misses a song. This is like the one from the 90s, I think, maybe late 80s, 90s version. Firstly, it misses a song. They're basically Live in the Heart of the City. The first disc tradition, or first vinyl traditionally, is the Live in the Heart of the City on the 23rd, 24th of June 1980. And then the second vinyl was live at Hammersmith on the 23rd of November 1978. And on the live at Hammersmith, the song Come On is missing on this version because they were like, oh, let's not do it. You see, before this, there was a double disc CD version. And they thought, oh, let's compress this onto one disc, but yeah, we're going to have to miss out a song. And they did. I mean, there is a version of Come On, it's the first track on the entire thing. But I don't like the missing tracks. Also, it sounds like crap. Absolute crap. The vinyl version sounds so vastly superior, it's quite unbelievable. I definitely recommend picking up the vinyl version of this album, or maybe the new remaster. I haven't heard that myself, so I can't judge. But the vinyl version is wonderful. This album, enjoyed it thoroughly. My favourite Whitesnake album definitely is before David Coverdale sold out. And yeah, really, really good album. Quite a few live albums. Well, mostly was listening to live albums this week. So I carry on the theme of live albums. I think I'll go for this one. Thin Lizzy, Live and Dangerous. Got this for Christmas and been listening to this week. What a live album this is. I'd say this is probably the best thing Thin Lizzy have done. It's amazing. From Jailbreak to The Rocker and the songs in between, like Rosalie and Boys Are Back in Town, of course, Warriors, even things like Shalala. It's just such a strong, raw, aggressive album. Even if only 75% of it, roughly I think I've heard, was actually live. And that, yes, I know they touched up quite a bit of it in the studio, but quite honestly, I don't actually care if they touched it up in the studio. For the simple reason, it's just a bloody good album. It really is. It's just a solid, strong album, really good performances. Yes, that could be because they touched it up, but I don't care. It sounds good. That's all that matters, really. Then the last live album was this classic UFO, Strangers in the Night, which I found out is Slash's favourite live album of all time. And I can see why. This was when Michael Schenker was still playing for UFO, and this really is the classic lineup of UFO. And, you know, features all the classics, really. You know, has songs like Doctor Doctor, Rock Bottom, Too Hot to Handle, Shoot Shoot. It's just 13 wonderful UFO tracks, and it is a massively good live album. Really impressed by it. Really impressed. I think all three of those now will be in my top 100 albums of all time. Just love them to death. Could not recommend them more for a hard rock fan. They really are three, in my opinion, of possibly the three best hard rock live albums, except for the Raw Live. But ones that aren't a particular album ever made, really. Three of my favourite lives. I'm not a giant live album person, but I love these to death. And a nearly studio album really been, well, I have been listening to another one, but that's going to be featured more on my CDs I bought recently for this month, and quite honestly, there's barely anything. There's like 3 CDs for that, so, you know, don't want to ruin it now. But I've also been listening to the Strawbs, Hero, and Heroine, and this was because I'm going to see the Strawbs soon, as I'm going to Progfest in Rotherham on the 6th and 7th of April, I think, something like that, so quite soon. And the Strawbs playing acoustic set. There's also Hawkwind headlining, Martin Turner's Wishbone Ash, Mostly Autumn, Arthur Brown, which I'm really excited for because I do love Arthur Brown, and The Reasoning, and there's loads of really good bands on the Saturday. I'm seeing the Saturday. Shame Caravan were playing on the Sunday. Oh wow. But yes, so been listening to some Strawbs, really good. Really enjoyed it. You know, it's not a, you know, phenomenal 10 out of 10 album, but it's a really solid, strong prog with some folky influences. Of course, it's the Strawbs album. I don't know when this album was made. No, I don't know. But this was not when Rick Wakeman was in the band, just to clarify. Okay, yeah, so that's been a pretty long episode. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Can't wait to subscribe. But as usual, long live rock and roll.